first thing I noticed is that when I turned this thing on is that it had a beautiful clarity and still warmth. Yeah, damn. It has great kind of ambience portrayal.
Full thumbs up with this combination here. I'm the rookie, so I will take up your cues.
Adrian from Audio Excellence, Philip, and this is our friend Louis. Louis is both a friend and a client, and since we kicked Jay out, we decided to, we're going to start inviting more clients to join us on a regular basis so that they can give their perspective of what they hear as opposed to just hearing it from our end. So welcome everybody. Today we're going to cover, do you guys want to cover both or
You didn't listen to the...
I'm sorry?
Did you listen to the other one?
I only listened to the
The preamp?
the
All right,
preamp.
so we'll cover the preamp first anyway. So today we're going to cover our sonic impressions of the new McIntosh C22. I don't know, can you see this in the video?
Yes.
This is the C22 Mark V preamplifier. They were just shipped approximately a week, 2 weeks ago. We did a previous video on the unboxing. The C22 Mark V is the replacement of the C70 preamplifier, which was designed and manufactured to celebrate their 70th anniversary. So since that was a limited run, the factory has now made it into something called the C22 Mark V. So apparently the circuit is essentially the same as the C70. Aesthetically, they've changed it so it looks more retro, more like the original C22, which is a legendary product. Also, in fact, you can actually see, so this is the C49. This is what a typical McIntosh today would look like, and this is what the C22 looks like. Can you see this, by the way? Okay, good. And so in the retro theme, you've got a brushed aluminum at the bottom. You've got these rocker switches over here, as opposed to all glass across. I like this, although I love that. So I would say for me, this is still preferred visually, but I really like that as well. And then it's a tube preamplifier, so there are tubes at the top, which Jerry will show. Which Jerry will show later. So there are tubes at the top, and it's a pure analog preamplifier. So there are no digital options. You cannot buy a digital module to add to it. And price is $6,000 US. Just some of the specs. 5 12AX7As, 1 12AT7, it's NMC, and 2 balance, 3 single-ended inputs, 2 pairs of balance and 2 pairs of single-ended outputs. You have bass and treble controls, which are also bypassable, and there's no home theater pass-through. So if you're thinking about adding it to a home theater system, it's not the one that you should look at. Anyway, who wants to start between the two of you?
Chicken.
I'm the rookie, so I will take up your cues.
You do understand that I'm going to pick on you, right?
That's okay. I'm okay with that.
Eventually.
No, it's okay.
No kid gloves here, Louis.
I
think you're the oldest guy in the room.
Thick skin. Yeah. I'm actually 21 with
a glandular problem?
44 years of experience.
Yeah.
Because he, stopped aging and maturing when he reached age 21. Yeah. He's got out of school and he's going to take on the world and then your kids don't know about that, right?
No, hell no.
Yeah, damn. C22. First thing is that I thought it would be just like a C70. Didn't sound anything close to a C70 as far as I'm concerned. Didn't really change that much either after we put, plus at least 100 hours on it. So I really like it. I like it better than the C2700. It's got some of more of the mainstream McIntosh DNA in the Sonics right now, but it operates beautifully like a vintage preamp. It has phono controls on the front, so you can adjust the loading, the capacitance for any moving magnet cartridge that you have in there, or the impedance for any moving coil cartridge that you might be putting into the moving coil section. The physical knobs are always something that is nice, but the way the McIntosh does it, obviously, is that they're quiet. They will remain quiet for the lifetime of the product. It's not like the old stuff that has corrosion that can seep into the control. This is, their arrangement, their methodology ensures that it will remain quiet and sounding beautiful for a generation, 2 generations, and all, of course, serviceable. So McIntosh stands behind it. In terms of the Sonics, the first thing I noticed is that when I turned this thing on is that it had a beautiful clarity and still warmth. So that classic kind of like tube preamp should have, you should know that it has tubes in it, which will give you a nice kind of like slightly warm to warmish mid-range, beautiful in character, and then the top end should be open and extended and kind of airy. I mean, for want of a better word, it has great kind of ambience portrayal, but not in a way that transistors are, because it's not quite as fast, so it kind of lingers a bit. And so when you're listening to it, it is a bit of a gossamer kind of approach. It's not crystalline in structure. It's not cold in presentation. It has a bit of forgiveness, obviously. And compared to the C70 is very romantic sounding compared to this. I believe in an earlier video that we did on it, that was primarily the difference between, the C70 and the C2700. I have clients who bought the C70 specifically because they like that kind of sound. And the C22, for whatever reason, has less of that quality. I just really like it. Everything I put through it is a little bit more true. So when you're listening to things, it puts less of a character on it than more classic tubey type of preamp, which I find more enjoyable now because I can actually hear what the music is rather than what the preamp is. But it's still a bit more, it's not quite as, what's the right word I'm looking for?
Euphonic?
It's not as euphonic, but what I mean to say is that compared to the C27, which I also really love, the C22 has a little bit less of a Lewis, you want to help me? No? I guess not.
I don't have the experience with all the different preamps. And
not that the C27 is mechanical in nature or anything like that, but what I mean is to say is that the C22 still has a bit of flesh to it, a bit more flesh than the C2700. So when you're listening to something, it has a kind of natural quality to it that is realistic in the sense that instruments will have a bit of bite, and if you close your eyes, really not even depending on the speaker, you will know that they are in front of you. And so, I look forward to listening to this preamp even more. I really liked it in combination with the power amp that came out with it at the same time, the 1502, which I guess we'll get into at a later time.
Yeah. Louis, what do you think?
well, for some serious listening, I did female vocals, Annie Bisson, some Sarah Vaughan, which is one of my favorite jazz singers, Noella, yesterday.
Why Noella?
It's a little bit political, but I had to rush home, so I didn't get enough time to do the full gamut. But and I also listened to Shirley Bassey, one of my favorite singers, with a great vocal range. Then on instrumentals, I went to Bob Baldwin, a keyboard player, and his band is really good. It brought out a lot of detail, and they were good recordings. And I decided to also to listen to a big band, a modern day new big band called the Big Fat Band. And it's like a 14-member band, and they play a lot of swing style music from the early days, and it's fantastic. And it brought out a pleasurable sound with the combination with the Mac Power Amp and the Sabrina X's. It totally blew me away. I found a lot of bass with this preamp, no problem at all, with the Sabrinas. Detail was no problem at all, and I would say this is definitely a fantastic preamp, and I would recommend a buy on that.
Did you guys, I mean, so not to interject, sorry, I'm just curious. Over here we have the C49 and the C22. Did you guys get a chance to compare the two at all?
No, I didn't get a chance, but I will come back if there will be a follow-up video for that to do the comparison. But definitely, even Jerry agreed with me when we put on the Bob Baldwin, and he says, "Oh, that's the type of jazz I would want to listen to," and it's contemporary jazz, but it brought out so much detail, and Philip said that it's not as fast. The bass was not as fast as the 27.
Well, 2700 and certainly
2700.
the C53 and the C49.
Those I have not listened to in any detail in the Mac room, but definitely there was speed in this one here. I mean, no doubt about it. I don't know, Jerry, you listened to part of it. I don't know if you have any comment to make on my my audio choice of listening, but definitely he gave it full thumbs up. And for me, I will give the Mac full thumbs up with this combination here with the C611. The power amp.
Oh no, it's a 462.
462.
Yeah.
And that combination with the Sabrina X will blow your mind. Anybody will come into this room will definitely agree with me on that.
Oh, that's good.
That's my take.
Well, thank you.
My limited knowledge and my limited take.
What is your baseline at home? So let the people know exactly.
I have the NAD Master Series, the 12 and the 22, the 12 preamp and the 22 power amp, which is 250 a side, Class D. The Blue Sound.
You have a Vault.
Vault, yeah, the Vault, which is a 1 terabyte hard drive. And what else do I have? I have a Sonus, which I don't use.
Speakers?
Speakers, I have Dyne Audio Special 40s. And it sounds okay. I mean, nothing compared to what I hear here, but, you know, when you live off a fixed income nowadays, you just have to take what you can afford.
So when you first listened to our setup here, what was the thing that you told me? When you sat down in the middle chair in the spot and you said it's all
okay. So the center image is dead on. I could hear each instrument placed in the separate speakers, left and right. I could hear the sax here. I could hear the plucking of the acoustic guitar on the other side or whatever it is. The placement was fantastic. So what I've always read that tube amplifiers or two preamps give this holographic sound. And I did not find a holographic sound. I found a fantastic sound, but not this holographic sound, which I hear people.
What do you think holographic sound is?
Well, I think it's something wide and expansive.
So there wasn't a gigantic soundstage in front of you?
No, I didn't get that. I didn't get that. But I mean, because the center stage is fine. I got that. But I didn't find this wide, how I heard the descriptive, reading the descriptive of what they say, this holographic sound. I did not get that.
But you were expecting it.
I was, because it's the first time I've sat down to critically listen to a tube preamp, and I've been hearing and listening to all the YouTube channels with people saying that, you know, a tube preamp gives you this with a solid state.
So when you're at home and you have your stuff playing, you're listening to the NADs, does it come even slightly close to what you heard here?
No.
No?
No.
How's it different?
The detail, I mean, the speakers alone is magnificent here. I mean, I've heard the other ones in the Mac room.
Detail's a bit about resolution too.
Oh,
so the system is really
huge.
Gigantic resolution because there's a really good streamer and DAC behind it. But in terms of the size of the soundstage, width, does it extend beyond the speakers when you have it at home?
No.
So is it concentrated in between the speakers and not a great deal of depth behind the speakers or in front?
But of course, my speaker placement at home is nowhere as wide as this. So I do get a fill in mine maybe 7-8 feet apart. So I get that sound stage. But this, to me, was maybe too wide. I don't know. But that's my feeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a much bigger conversation in all this, obviously, because, we're running short on time, but I'll just say this quickly. If you were expecting like this holographic kind of thing in front of you, that doesn't always happen in every piece of music. It has to actually be encoded in the music. In other words, they have to be able to put in sonic cues that will tell you what the size of the space is. So, partly it is, in the music. If it's not in the music, you shouldn't hear it. So that's actually a good thing. Because the holography thing only works when you listen to a piece of music that's recorded in real time, in real space, and, like churches and things like that. But
okay, so let me just wrap it up real quick. For the most part, I agree with both of them. Out of the two pieces, the preamp and the amp, I'll talk about the amp later, but the preamp is certainly very impressive. I'm not convinced that I, at this point, like it better or not compared to the C70, only because it's been a while since I actually heard the C70 in direct comparison, and I don't want to go by oral memory. I did compare it to the C49, and what was fascinating was that they're definitely quite different, but both really enjoyable. I'll leave it at that for now. Maybe we'll cover that in a separate video when we do the 1502s. But certainly, if you're in the market for a tube preamplifier, strongly recommend it. I really, really like what I hear, and it's also less expensive than the C2700 if you don't need the digital section. Anyway, Adrian from Audio Excellence, Philip, and thank you very much, Louis. We'll see you again the next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.